the head, the body dies.
Rise coming right up.
Right now, my absolute favourite combat ability on Veteran is Infiltrate. There's something so cool about the toolbox options that allow you to customize it and the playstyle it encourages. It's the kind of ability that gives you options in a game that is constantly trying to take those options away from you. Now for the build I have for you today, we'll be augmenting our Infiltrate with low profile. This is essentially an aggro dump effect that does a lot more than the tooltip would imply, like being able to manipulate enemy positioning, pathing, and targeting. And why might that be important, you ask? Because we're looking to set up this blessing, Raking Fire. Now this one allows you to deal a massive 40% extra damage in a 180 degree area behind the enemy. And thanks to Infiltrate and low profile, we can set this up really easily. So now that I have your curiosity, let's have a look at the weapon we'll be courageously shooting heretics in the back with. Patch 14 has rebalanced pretty much every weapon in the game, and one huge benefactor of these changes are the infantry autogun family. Now I've always loved this family of guns, but they have historically struggled, but not anymore. With a buff to its damage, ammo capacity, and magazine size, and a rework of its recoil, this gun is a whole different beast. It's an absolute monster in close quarters combat, and in this build shreds pretty much whatever stands in front of it. We'll come back to the weapon in just a bit, but first, the build itself. So here it is in all its glory, friends. I'm calling this one the Grim Reaper, inspired by a certain character from a different game that has a penchant for avoiding death and surviving seemingly impossible odds. Shout out to those who know. Bear with me here and we'll talk through some of these choices. Firstly, we have what I see as the core talents of the build. Infiltrate and low profile are to facilitate movement, increase survivability, and set up Raking Fire, with close quarters kill zone boosting our killing power even further for 10 seconds every time we break stealth. With the buff to the cooldown of stealth going from 60 seconds to 45 seconds, the use case for close quarters kill zone went way up in this patch. With 10 seconds of uptime, the same amount as low profile, and a whopping 30% damage boost, heretics really won't be prepared for what's about to hit them in the back when you break stealth and begin your assault. Tactical Awareness is a value-generating engine, enabling rapid cooldown reduction for Infiltrate. Any specialist you kill is giving you back 6 whole seconds of cooldown, and when the game is feeding you specials non-stop at Auric level, it means that Infiltrate, and therefore by extension Close Quarters Kill Zone and Low Profile, are always usually available when you need to use them. Onslaught basically equates to more damage of our infantry autogun against anything with armor, which is every enemy that has flak, maniac, unyielding, or carapace factored into their profiles, so basically most enemies. Crack grenades do also deserve a mention here because I'm running these 3 talents that all boost them. I fucking love these things, especially when I have the souped up version. While we can kill crushers of our infantry autogun thanks to Onslaught, it's really just more practical to disappear them with crack grenades instead. The rest of the talent choices are really just about pathing efficiently and taking the best options available to us. Best can sometimes be subjective in Darktide, but in my opinion, you always want to be taking Superiority Complex and Confirm Kill in pretty much every build, as these are just S-tier talents that increase your killing power and survivability. So once we've factored in our pathing to all the talents we 100% want, we're left with 2 points. With those, you can take your pick of the following nodes. Demolition Stockpile, because regenerating grenades is pure value, and we've already got Grenade Tinkerer and an extra grenade if you chose to path through Grenadier. Bring It Down will help your infantry autogun deal with Ogrins and increase your boss damage. Iron Will synergizes super efficiently with a toughness recharge from Infiltrate and Confirm Kill. Or you could just go for the handy 10% range damage by taking the 2 nodes at the top of the sharpshooter's tree. My personal pick is Demolition Stockpile and Iron Will, the former for the endless value and the latter because I feel survivability is really important for the veteran, especially when you're engaging in a more dynamic and riskier playstyle. So I spoke about raking fire earlier in the video and why that's our blessing of choice, but what about the rest of the weapon? Well, this is pretty simple. Perks, we're going for surprise surprise, flak and maniac. Maniac is one of the most important perks in the game for a lot of weapons, as the amount of specials you have to eliminate at auric level is extremely high. Furthermore, the Mutie got its hit points buffed back up to being swole again, so being able to end them quickly is a priority. Flak is by far the most common armor type in the game, nothing new there, so we'll be taking that as well. As for the second blessing, the obvious choice is Dum Dum, which is easily the most consistent and powerful for close quarters combat orientated weapons, and once again stacks with all our other damage stuff. Between Dum Dum, Raking Fire, and Close Quarters Kill Zone, our gun does 100% extra damage at close range, which is absolutely ridiculous, and looks a little bit like this. As for your melee weapon, it's really a case of choose your favorite. The Mark IV Devil Claw, the Chainsword, and the Rashad Combat Axe are pretty much my chosen top 3, but the Power Sword family is absolutely tapped for damage right now as well if you're happy to lose the stamina and dodges for more melee strength, and the Combat Knife or Tactical Axes can also work pretty well in here thanks to their high mobility and the option to take the Desperado talent. Here are my build recommendations for each choice coming up on the screen now. Really though, as long as you're using something you're comfortable with, you'll excel here, as this build runs the absolutely amazing Trench Fighter, with the option to further buff it with Desperado as well if you prefer that side of the bottom right tree. With Curios, I advise running 2 toughness and 1 health, which without factoring in perks will give you around 200 of each stat, making our veteran pretty robust as far as veterans go. When it comes to perks, the ones I value the most in this build, in order of most to least useful, are... Now I feel I get the most mileage out of these, but if you have other preferences, by all means just take what you own or enjoy playing with. This one's really down to you. In terms of the gameplay, the build is hyper mobile, hyper aggressive, and surprisingly resilient thanks to all the toughness damage reduction from Close Order Drill and Iron Will, so you can and absolutely should take advantage of this. Infiltrate and Low Profile allow you to maneuver into positions you wouldn't normally be able to, such as behind gunners in cover, then all your damage buffs will make short work of clearing out position. Extremely satisfying. Your crack grenade should ideally be saved for crushers or high densities of armored elites, and, if needed, monsters. Everything else our autogun can make short work of, including Reapers and Bulwarks. This build does require a level of confidence and game knowledge to play optimally, as there are scenarios where you'll need to break coherency to get the most out of it. This can be risky if you're not confident with things like dodging nets and dogs, and end up getting disabled while away from your team. On the flip side, if you have the skills to pay the bills and the knowledge to back it up, you'll find that the sky really is the limit with this build. You're just good at everything, extremely killy, and able to pull off the most insane clutches in a way that only a stealth build can. That's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.